I just found out that there's a huge niche for video games, retro video games, particularly that I never would have expected. I would have always thought that there wouldn't be that much interest in it, or that it would be a cult thing. But it's really huge. It seems like the same video games are just as popular now as they were back then, which is really weird.
One thing I really like about the Living 8-Bits show is the diversity of the show. I mean, not only do you have the show where they take classic NES games and they apply it into real life, right? But they also have top 10 videos they've done. They've done videos of them going to conventions, at their panels. So really, every time they post a video, I'm always curious what they're going to come out with.
One of the things I really like about the show is the fact that they play up on some of the video game tropes and some of the ideas in the video games and kind of and make fun of it and lightheartedly make fun of it in real life.
I like retro things, obviously, so I clicked on the 8-Bits thing, and the first reaction I had to myself was, why aren't these guys more popular? I remember seeing it and seeing the professionalism, but also the good humor. The work they put into it looked amazing to me. It was almost like something you don't really see on YouTube type shows, because normally YouTube stuff are more goofy, and the levels of production aren't normally up to the standard that they had. So it was wild to me to see that, and I was definitely really impressed, and I subscribed right away, and it wasn't something I regretted.
The little subtleties you find in the show, like the double dribble episode, where
the
you
free
have,
shooting,
the free shooting thing going back and forth. That probably took a while to do, and they went ahead and did the extra work to do that.
Yeah.
And I think the audience greatly appreciates stuff like that, and it makes it that much more entertaining.
Yeah, you feel like you're part of the group, part of the gang, because you get the joke, because you get the same level of nostalgia that the people on the screen have. You have too. Like, oh God, that's right.
I was watching it with my girlfriend the other day, and I was kind of explaining, okay, it takes place in a video game world. She's like, okay, we're watching it. And she's still laughing, and she enjoyed it, even though she doesn't know about video games. She doesn't care about video games, but it's entertaining for everybody. And it's even all the more entertaining if you know where the video game references and in-jokes came from.
Live action is hard to do online as far as live action sketches, and the way that the team incorporated everything they did into it, it was just fun.
You know, when it comes to Living in 8-Bits and their episodes and the highlights for me and my personal favorites, there's obviously a bunch. I love a lot of their stuff. But a couple pop into mind right off the bat, and that would probably be the Contra code. They basically take Contra and, you know, the Konami code. I forget what they called it. I think it was like the Kiwami code, or so they called it kind of something funny.
It's called the Kanumai. Kunumai.
Kaunumwai.
Kanumai?
Kaunumwai.
The editing was brilliant in it. I really liked what Michael did with the editing. But not only that, but the scripting was awesome. And I'm a huge fan of Contra, so just kind of funny to see Contra put into a real life situation. And it was pretty funny and awesome.
My favorite character, I would have to say, is probably Jobocop. I like the guy. I think he's hilarious. The way he comes off is perfect. It just works. Everybody works really well, but the comedy to me that he does always nails it to me. I always seem to laugh the most when he's on screen.
My favorite characters in the show would have to be Mario and Luigi. They're both freaking hilarious, you know, with their insane accents and just their creeper behavior.
I think anytime that Joey is the plumber or Mario, those are hilarious. He's a very hilarious Mario.
And as the idea of this super excited Mario that actually is just bothering everybody and makes no sense what his goals are, and thinking everyone's a princess, and and the fact that he's a plumber hitting on people with the plunger at all times. Joey knocks it out of the park.
Seeing just Joey and Matt together for the first time as Mario and Luigi in Luigi's first appearance, that was a lot of fun. That was probably one of my favorite moments.
Oh, his Luigi. I fell in love. That was the perfect Luigi. They make the perfect team.
I would say the Blades of Wheel, I think it was called, which is basically the spoof on Blades of Steel. That's one of my favorite Nintendo games. I laughed the whole time through that with just the simple jokes. I loved how the guy just kind of looked cross-eyed. I loved how him and Jeff were kind of acting like doofusy.
To the extent of detail they went with that pro wrestling episode, I mean, I don't even know who it was, but somebody was dressed in a full Starman outfit, you know, the spandex and the star. And much kudos to whoever that was. This was like one of the first episodes I saw.
It's like, you know, Family Guy has those 1%er jokes that, like, you know, the smallest amount of people are getting. This is like the 0.1%. If you're not into games, Jesus, you just better remember pro wrestling.
My favorite episode, I think, is the one that stands out in my mind is the Robot Master tryout one.
It was just, the scripting was awesome and brilliant, and it was so funny because I could just only picture Viberman as part of a Mega Man boss. It was really brilliantly written and just hysterical. One of the funniest episodes they did, I think.
I really loved the Mega Man episodes. I thought the art work were so good in those episodes, and Lori is fantastic.
Again, this goes into the attention of detail, you know, where they had, I don't know, some insulation man or something like that. They actually drew, like, it looked like a legitimate drawing of this character, like it came from the manual of Mega Man. And there's a number of characters like that where they actually took the time to do that detail and actually draw that. And that just speaks volumes to the amount of work that they put in the show and the amount of detail they do.
I just love that idea, and it comes off so effortlessly. And I love seeing these little designs that they made and all the little special features that these robots have, because I just found that hilarious. And honestly, a couple of them you probably would have seen in a Mega Man game, which is just awesome.
I just thought it was fun because it was playing into that whole aspect of, you know, Robot Masters kind of, you know, some of them really suck, and, you know, just, I like that one. That's a cool one.
Hopefully this doesn't bother them, because they've done a lot of really funny, clever things, but what really got me was when they were talking about the bead mistress, and Pawner says,
"Love it. Always inserting."
And then they're threatening Diana with trying out the technology on her, and she's just like really worried, and she looks over at Gunter, and he's just sitting there like, just shoving pretzels in his mouth. Like, I mean, that's totally up my alley. Like, that is my sense of humor. I rewound that like a million times. It took me forever to finish that episode. I just kept watching that over and over. And I just showed my girlfriend, watch this, it's so freaking funny. And she was cracking up. She knows nothing about video games, but she thought it was hilarious.
I always love episodes that just throw in explosions.
In which our products have turned on mankind.
Because they just look so good.
Yeah.
My favorite character is actually always Pawner. You guys don't even always know this, but even if it's not Pawner who says it, a lot of the one-liners in the episodes just come from Pawner. He's excellent at just picking out one thing that was not even written in the script, but in the moment he's like, oh, how about you say that? And it just comes across that sometimes it just makes the entire episode, which also is just why I love Pawner's character, because he just does things with it that work.
Subscribe!
I like it when Adam appears in the episodes. Square Painter. She's like, hey, he's acting. I was getting so happy.
Acting.
Captain N, melts my butter.
I like the one with the turkey legs, where we had the James Rolfe cameo.
Turkey leg.
Major always, dude. Ugh.
I like them all. How could I hardly judge? It's like picking your favorite kid. I don't want to do that. I like all the episodes, except for the ones featuring Belmont.
It's like every episode.
I know.
I don't really have a favorite character. I mean, I could say Greg Belmont, but I think I'd just be saying that because he's kind of hot. But
oh God, I love Greg Belmont.
I really like Jeff as Greg Belmont. I thought that when he brought that in, that was hilarious.
It worked great because the first episode I remember seeing it was the Twilight episode, and there's some commentary in there about that character and the weak female characters in these like abusive vampire stories that the girls seem to love.
I love Greg Belmont as a character. Whenever he appears, like swarthy, you know, full of himself, kind of an ass. It's awesome. I get a kick out of it.
Yeah, I'm probably going to catch a lot of heat for this one. The Greg Belmont episodes aren't my favorite.
Whoa, you didn't really just seriously say that, did you?
In fact, I probably put them on the lower end. I didn't like the Greg Belmont episodes. I get the character, and I like the character. They weren't putting me in tears laughing.
I need a beer. And you know, when Jeff goes to conventions, it's like, hey, Greg Belmont. You know, he even has fan art of Greg Belmont. So hey, I would love to see some Mario fan art. That would be really cool.
Greg Belmont is the most popular to the point where people don't know my name. I'm Jeff. I'm an actor. I play Greg Belmont. You can see me in other things that aren't Greg Belmont. You should totally Google me. Maybe hate on something that's not Greg Belmont. Like, oh, you're not Greg Belmont in this. Screw you, Jeff. Whatever. Get the conversation started.
Living in 8-Bits is a super high quality show in every way possible, and it's a crime that they're not more popular than they are. I mean, they're pretty popular, but they should be way more popular than they are. I think it's just a matter of getting the word out there. So, you know, tell your friends, tell your enemies, I don't care. Tell your grandma, she might watch. I watched it the other night with my girlfriend. She doesn't care about video games, but she loved it because it's freaking hilarious.
I think Living in 8-Bits works because we can
sort of capture those feelings, but we don't do it in a review and we don't do it in a Let's Play. We do it in a show.
I mean, who would think? We're just, a couple of people from South Jersey. Why would other people want to watch what we do for fun? But they do, and that's one of the greatest feelings.
I don't know. I just like drawing attention to silly things. That's what we talked about. That's what we kind of boil it down today. Is just silly things. Just jumping out of a TV. That's silly, and it's funny when you draw attention to it.
Going back and watching these old episodes from the Rob the Robot episode up until the car explosions and the Greg Belmonts.
Living in 8 Bits has had 50 awesome episodes so far. It may very well have 50 more or more than that. It's a web show, you never know. And regardless, I'm excited moving forward because Living in 8 Bits has been this great stepping stone so far in all of our careers.